Tell me a little bit about what you've seen so far with today's voter turnout.
The turnout today has been fairly typical for what we normally see for a municipal election cycle. This is most of our row offices. The last couple of the equivalent cycles, we were in the low 30s, 31 and 33%, and I would expect, based on some of the numbers I've heard earlier today, that we will be somewhere in that ballpark.
And obviously this is a little bit of a lower turnout for presidential years. Tell me a little bit about the difference between the two.
There's a huge difference. Next year, presidential, we will be somewhere in the high 60s or close to 70%, so this is well under half of what we will see next November.
And this is pretty typical.
And that's also very typical, yes.
How big of a factor does the weather play? I know it was sunny today, it was warm.
Sometimes people like to think that the nice weather, people will come out because it's a great day to be out. Some people will go cut their grass today instead of, maybe go vote. I've always believed that the nice weather doesn't necessarily impact or increase voter turnout. Those folks who are going to vote are going to show up regardless of the weather. Negative or poor weather, such as thunderstorms, blizzards, ice storms, those will certainly detract or keep people from voting, but I don't honestly believe that the great weather we saw today would have any substantial impact on our voting.
Walk me through a little bit of the voting process, or how you said you had little cartridges that you bring back here to the Board of Elections?
So essentially, each of our precincts has cartridges that we call PEBs, P-E-B, which is short for personalized electronic ballots. All of the results are loaded on what we call our master PEB in each precinct at the end of the night when they close their voting machines. We have drop-off points throughout the county, so the precincts, depending on where they are, will drop those off to one of our custodians or rovers, and then they will gather all those and bring those back here. We read all of those PEBs into our election computer, and then we load and post those on the county's website. We also upload those to the state's website.
Okay. Has there been any issues today with any of the or anything whatsoever?
We always encounter some. So there's always bumps and bruises. I always like to compare elections to a cue ball. When you hold a cue ball in your hand or you look at it, you play pool, it looks as smooth as can be, but if you look at it under a microscope, it looks like the planet Earth, perhaps. That's what elections is. There's never a perfect election. What you hope to do is minimize the issues. You address any issues that you encounter. We certainly have minor issues. We've had a couple minor machine issues today. We've had some calibration issues, which we normally encounter every election, but nothing major. That's the key, and the key is that you address any of those minor issues.
Anything else you'd like to add, Jack?
No, that sounds good. So
right,
I appreciate
so
you guys coming over.
Thank you.
Thank you.